Relax, I'm just keeping my options open, she said while messaging other guys in front of me. So I closed mine to her. Now she's shut out of my life completely. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I've always been the kind of guy who values consistency over chaos. I grew up watching my parents build a life together from nothing. They weren't flashy, but they had each other's backs, and I wanted that same kind of loyalty. So when I started dating Alyssa, I thought I'd finally found it. She was magnetic, the kind of girl who could walk into a room and everyone would notice. She had this laugh that turned heads, and when she looked at you, it felt like you were the only person in the world. At least, that's how it felt in the beginning. We started dating in college. I was working 2 part-time jobs to cover tuition and bills, while she was still figuring out what she wanted to do. I didn't mind helping her out, paying for dinners, covering some rent when she was short. I told myself that's what you do when you love someone. You support them until they get on their feet. For the first year, things were good. She seemed to appreciate me. She'd brag to her friends that I was such a gentleman, and that I treated her better than anyone else she'd dated. I thought we were building something solid. But slowly, little cracks started to show. Alyssa loved attention. That's not unusual, but with her it was different. She didn't just enjoy it, she craved it. I'd notice how she'd linger on Instagram after posting a selfie, refreshing every 2 minutes, glowing when the likes rolled in. At first, I brushed it off. Everybody likes a bit of validation, right? Then came the nights out. She loved going to bars with her friends. I wasn't controlling. I never tried to stop her, but I'd see pictures later where she was draped over some guy's shoulder, holding drinks other men bought for her. When I asked about it, she'd laugh. "Oh, come on, Daniel. It's harmless. You know I'm coming home to you." I wanted to believe her. And for a while, I did. Still, something about the way she brushed off my concerns stuck with me. It was like she thought I'd always be there no matter what, like my loyalty was guaranteed and unshakable. There were smaller signs too. When I told her about getting a raise at work, she shrugged and said, "That's nice," before changing the subject to some influencer drama. When I asked her how her classes were going, she'd roll her eyes and say, "Ugh, boring. Can we not talk about school?" I realized I was putting in effort, asking about her life, supporting her, planning date nights, and she was giving me scraps of attention in return. But I told myself relationships go through phases. I convinced myself things would even out. The night that changed everything started off normal enough. We were on my couch, just watching TV. I was halfway through telling her about a project I was working on when I noticed she wasn't listening. Her phone screen was lighting up every few seconds, and she was grinning. "Who's that?" I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. She barely looked up. "Oh, just a friend." I glanced at the screen, and it was obvious from the tone of the messages that it wasn't just friendly. Compliments, winky faces, things no one would send if it was platonic. "Alyssa," I said slowly, "are you seriously texting another guy like that while we're sitting here together?" She laughed. Actually laughed. Like I'd just said the dumbest thing in the world. "Relax, Daniel. I'm just keeping my options open." And in that moment, everything I thought I knew about her, about us, shifted. I froze when she said it. "Keeping your options open?" I repeated, sure I must have misheard. She didn't even look up from her phone. Her thumbs tapped out a reply, and then she tossed it onto the cushion like it was no big deal. "Yeah, what's the big deal? Everyone does it." My chest tightened. "No, Alyssa, everyone doesn't do that. Not if they're in a serious relationship." She finally turned to me, her eyes wide with mock innocence. "Daniel, you're acting jealous over a couple of texts. It's not like I'm sleeping with him." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You're flirting with another guy while sitting next to me. You don't think that's disrespectful?" She rolled her eyes so hard it was like I'd just asked her to solve advanced calculus. "You're so dramatic. Look, I'm 23. I'm not dead. Guys are going to message me. If I flirt a little, it's harmless. It doesn't change the fact that I'm with you, does it?" I stared at her, trying to wrap my head around how casual she was about it. "Harmless? You literally just told me you're keeping your options open. What am I, a placeholder until something better shows up?" Her smirk was the kind of thing that burns itself into your memory. "Don't act like you wouldn't be lucky if that was the case. At least you'd still get to say you had me for a while." I don't think she realized how much that sentence cut. For 2 years, I'd been pouring myself into this relationship, working extra shifts so she didn't have to stress about bills, planning little trips when I could afford it, standing by her when she bounced between majors and jobs. And now she was telling me I should be grateful just to have had a seat at the table. You actually believe that, don't you? I said quietly. She shrugged, like she was bored. Daniel, chill. You're too uptight. I need someone who can keep up with me, not get all insecure because I talked to a couple of guys. I leaned back against the couch, staring at her like I was seeing her for the first time. Insecure, I said slowly. You're sitting here flirting with other men right in front of me, and when I say it hurts, you call me insecure. That's not normal, Alyssa. That's not love. For a second, I thought she might soften, that she'd see how serious I was. But instead, she crossed her arms and smirked again. You'll get over it. You always do. That broke something in me. Not in the loud, screaming way. Not in the begging, tearful way. Just something inside me went quiet. I stood up. She frowned. Where are you going? To bed, I said simply. I've got an early shift tomorrow. She scoffed. Wow. Way to be dramatic. Fine, whatever. She grabbed her phone again, already smiling at the screen like nothing had happened. And that was the moment I knew. She didn't take me seriously. She didn't respect me. And if I stayed, nothing would ever change. I lay awake that night staring at the ceiling, the glow of her phone lighting up the room every few minutes. Each vibration was like a nail in the coffin of what I thought we had. I didn't argue. I didn't fight. I just decided, quietly, without telling her. If she wanted to keep her options open, I was about to close mine, permanently. The next morning, Alyssa was still asleep when I left for work. Her phone was buzzing on the nightstand, and I didn't need to look to know it wasn't from me. I didn't touch it. I just stared for a second, then walked out. All day, I thought about what she'd said. Relax, I'm just keeping my options open. It echoed in my head like a bad song you can't shake. Every excuse she'd made, every eye roll, every smug little smirk, they all piled up until I couldn't deny it anymore. She didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as a safety net. By the time my shift ended, I knew exactly what I had to do. When I got home, she was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through her phone like she hadn't moved since last night. She looked up, gave me a quick smile, and went right back to whatever conversation she was having. Hey, I said, setting my bag down. We need to talk. She groaned. Oh my God, not this again. Yes, I said quietly. This again. She tossed her phone on the coffee table with exaggerated frustration. Daniel, you're seriously overreacting. I already told you, I wasn't doing anything wrong. You're making this into some big betrayal when it was just texting. I sat down across from her, keeping my voice calm. It wasn't just texting. It was disrespect. You told me, to my face, that you're keeping your options open. Do you have any idea what that sounds like? She waved a hand like she was brushing off dust. It sounds like I'm 23 and not ready to settle down like some boring old couple. God, you act like we're married. We've been together for 2 years, I said. I thought we were building towards something real. I thought you wanted that too. She snorted. Yeah, well, maybe I don't want to lock myself down so early. Sorry if that makes me a villain in your little perfect family fantasy. I let out a slow breath. So what am I to you then? Just practice? She tilted her head, lips curling into that smirk I was starting to hate. Don't be so sensitive. You're comfortable, reliable. It's nice having someone like you around. But I'm not going to stop living my life just because you're insecure. That was it. The final confirmation. I wasn't her partner. I was her placeholder. I stood up. If I'm just one of your options, Alyssa, then I'd rather not be on the list at all. Her smile faltered. What's that supposed to mean? It means we're done, I said. I'm not going to compete for a spot in my own relationship. She stared at me, like she was waiting for me to crack a grin and say I was kidding. When I didn't, she laughed, sharp, mean. You're really going to throw away 2 years over a few harmless texts? I shook my head. No, I'm walking away because you don't respect me. And you never will. For the first time, her voice sharpened. You think you're going to find someone better than me? Good luck, Daniel. You'll come crawling back. You always do. I looked at her, really looked at her, and all I felt was relief. No, Alyssa, this time I won't. I picked up my bag, walked to the door, and didn't look back. She didn't chase me. She didn't apologize. She just scoffed and muttered, "You'll regret this," like it was a curse she could cast. But as I stepped out into the night air, the only thing I felt was the weight lifting off my chest. I didn't regret it for a second. The first week after I left, I didn't hear much from Alyssa. No texts, no calls, just silence. Part of me expected some kind of explosion, angry messages, maybe a half-hearted apology. Instead, she doubled down on her performance. Friends started sending me screenshots. Her Instagram lit up with posts about being single and thriving. Captions like, "No man can hold me back," kiss mark sparkles, paired with selfies at bars, surrounded by guys I'd never seen before. She looked like she was auditioning for a role she didn't even want, but I stayed quiet. I didn't block her accounts. I didn't need to. Watching her turn our breakup into a highlight reel was pathetic, not painful. At first, her friends hyped her up in the comments. But I noticed the tone shift. Less, "You go, queen," and more awkward silence. By the third week, the likes had thinned out. Meanwhile, my life got quieter and better. I picked up more hours at work, not because I had to cover for her anymore, but because I wanted to. With the extra money, I finally joined a gym, something I'd been putting off. I found a rhythm: work, workouts, cooking for myself, actually getting 8 hours of sleep. It was simple, but it felt good. And here's the thing. Without Alyssa's constant drama, my world felt peaceful. I didn't realize how much emotional noise she created until it was gone. But her world? It was starting to crack. A mutual friend told me Alyssa had latched onto one of the guys she'd been texting that night on my couch. At first, she flaunted him around, posting stories of them out at clubs, kissing in the corner of some grainy video. But within a month, those posts vanished. He ghosted her, my friend said. Apparently, he never wanted anything serious. Just used her for a few nights of fun. I wasn't surprised. Alyssa always believed attention equaled affection. She never stopped to think that not everyone valued loyalty the way I did. After that, the pattern repeated. Another guy, another short-lived fling, another set of deleted posts. Her options weren't adding up to much. She tried to spin it as independence, but the cracks were showing. She complained on Twitter about how men were trash, about how nobody was worth her time. The irony wasn't lost on me. She'd thrown away someone who would have done anything for her, and now she was shocked no one else wanted to stay. The final confirmation came when I bumped into one of her old friends at the grocery store. We made small talk, and then she shook her head and said, "Alyssa's not doing great. She kind of burned a lot of bridges. Even her friends are tired of the drama." I nodded, but inside I felt something I hadn't felt in months: closure. Because while Alyssa's world was shrinking, mine was expanding. At work, I'd been promoted to team lead. My boss said he noticed how reliable I'd been lately, how I'd stepped up. I smiled to myself, thinking about how much energy I used to pour into fixing Alyssa's messes and how much progress I made once I stopped. Physically, I felt stronger. Mentally, clearer. Even socially, I reconnected with friends I'd neglected while babysitting her moods. For the first time in years, my life belonged to me. And the best part? I didn't miss her. Not the drama, not the smirks, not the way she made me feel small for caring. She once told me she was keeping her options open. Now it looked like all those options had closed, except me. And I knew it was only a matter of time before she came knocking. It didn't take long before my prediction came true. One night after work, I sat down with dinner when my phone buzzed. The name on the screen made me laugh out loud. Alyssa. Her message was short, almost casual. "Hey, just checking in. How've you been?" I didn't reply. A few hours later, another one came. "You probably think I'm crazy, but I miss you. Can we talk?" Still, I said nothing. Silence felt better than any words I could have given her. By the next morning, she was less subtle. "I know I messed up, but you're the only one who really got me. Those other guys were a joke compared to you. Please, can we just meet up for coffee?" I put the phone down, shook my head, and went to the gym. The messages kept coming, each one more frantic than the last. "Daniel, you don't get it. I was just keeping my options open because I was scared. You're the only real option I ever had. Don't do this. Don't throw away what we had. I'll change. I swear. Please answer me. I feel like I'm going insane without you." I never once typed a response. After a week of silence, the tone flipped again. I came home from work one evening to see a car parked outside my apartment complex. Alyssa was leaning against it, arms crossed, like she'd been rehearsing a scene in her head. "Daniel," she called as I walked by. "Come on, You're really not going to talk to me?" I kept walking. She hurried to catch up. "I was stupid, okay? I know that. But you can't just erase me like this. You know you still care." I turned, finally meeting her eyes. "Calm, steady. No, Alyssa. I cared once. But you made it clear I wasn't enough. And I'm not going back to that." Her smirk faltered. For the first time, she looked rattled. "So that's it. You're just going to throw us away like we were nothing?" I gave a small shrug. "You already did that. I'm just finishing what you started." She went quiet. I walked inside and shut the door behind me. That night, she sent one last Hail Mary. "I'll wait for you. I don't care how long it takes. I know you'll come back." But I didn't. Weeks turned into months, and her attempts grew weaker. An occasional "hey" text that I ignored. A friend request on a new account after I'd muted her old one. Rumors from mutuals that she'd been venting about me at parties, painting herself as the victim. It didn't matter. Because the truth was simple, I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even bitter. I was free. She once told me she was keeping her options open. Well, she opened every door but the one that mattered, and now she was standing outside mine, locked out for good. And me? I was already gone. Months passed, and life felt steady again. My routines became mine alone. I worked out. I cooked for myself. I went out with friends without having to worry about whose text I'd have to answer or what game I had to play to keep someone else satisfied. Then one Saturday morning, I ran into a mutual friend, Sarah, at the grocery store. She gave me a look that was half amused, half sympathetic. "You won't believe it," she said, lowering her voice like she was about to spill state secrets. "Alyssa's living with her sister now." "The guy she left you for?" "Yeah. Apparently he bailed after maxing out her credit cards. She's been crying to everyone that she made a mistake." I nodded, tossing a pack of coffee into my cart. "I'm not surprised." Sarah tilted her head. "She's been asking about you. Said she's still in love with you." I gave a small laugh. She's in love with the idea of me. The version she thought would still be waiting when everything else fell apart. Sarah smiled. "You're really over it, huh?" "Completely," I said, and I meant it. That night, as if on cue, Alyssa finally tried again. One last desperate message. "Daniel, I don't know how else to say this. I screwed up. I thought I was protecting myself, but I only ruined the best thing I ever had. Please, I need you. I don't care what happened. I just want us again." I stared at the words for a long moment. Once, they might have gutted me. Now, they barely registered. For the first time since it all happened, I actually typed back. "Alyssa, you told me I was just a backup plan. You wanted your options open. Well, now they're wide open, and I'm not one of them. I don't hate you. I don't wish you harm. But you don't belong in my life anymore. Goodbye." I hit send, then blocked her number for good. No anger. No drama. Just silence, finally permanent. The thing about betrayal is that it makes you question yourself first. You wonder if you weren't enough, if you could have done something differently. But the truth is, people reveal themselves in their choices. And Alyssa revealed exactly who she was when she told me I was just an option. I didn't lose her. She lost me. And the best part? I didn't have to do anything for karma to catch up. Life handled that all on its own. Now, when I think back, I don't feel bitterness or regret. I feel relief. Because the girl who treated me like a placeholder is gone, and the man who let himself be treated that way doesn't exist anymore either. I'm free. I'm at peace. And she's nothing but a chapter I've already closed. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.